Welcome to another edition of Out and About in Richfield. And today we're going to be featuring one of our own programs here at the City of Richfield, and it's a class for being home alone.
Home
right?
alone, yes.
Home alone. And who do we have with us today, Pam?
Well, we have one of our firefighters, Sherry Kazmarczyk, and also our crime prevention coordinator, Jill Mecklenburg. And they are the dynamic duo who are go out into the community and help educate our young children about the safety aspects of being home alone, because of course as kids, get to those ages where there's an opportunity to leave them home for, brief periods of time. I think parents certainly want to know, what's important for our kids to be aware of when they are home alone. So we're kind of curious as we kind of talk with both of you today, when did this start? What was sort of the impetus for the program?
I started getting calls from parents in the community asking questions about the appropriate age when they can start leaving their kids at home alone, and also asking if there are programs to teach kids about staying home alone and personal safety. And I also noticed that other communities were offering it. So we offered our first class in October of 2011, and we've offered 5 classes since then, and they've all been full. So there's definitely a need in our community.
I was first left home alone when I was 17. But what is the...
How did that go for you?
My parents were there. But what are the ages when people leave their kids home alone?
I'm going to start out by saying there's no magic age.
Well, because
that's straight across the board, because the maturity levels
right.
differ greatly.
That's why I was 17.
Exactly. We say usually starting at age 10, they can be home alone for small amounts of time. And our class is open to kids 9 through 12. Certainly we'll accept them 13, 14. However, we concentrate on the ages 9 through 12 because we want them to be ready to stay home alone at age 10.
Okay. And how long is the program? And is it a half day, full day?
We schedule it on a non-school day with the Richfield school calendar, and it is an all day. It starts at 9 a.m., ends at 3. Lunch is provided. There's snacks throughout the day. Besides all the classroom portion we do, we get them up and moving. We play some dodgeball, some gym games, have a lot of breaks throughout the day. So it's a full day.
And so I know there's a lot of things that you guys cover in this full day. And so Steve and I are very interested to know, can you go into some detail about what are some of the specific things that you review with these kids and talk about with them to improve their safety awareness?
Okay, I'll go ahead and start that. Before we go into detail, I want to make sure that everybody is aware that this is a program that's not just police and fire. We do this in cooperation with Richfield Recreation, Richfield Community Education, and Richfield Ready supports us financially. So that's an important piece of the puzzle, because we are able to offer this class for $18, which is half of what our neighboring communities are charging for the class. All the participants of the Home Alone class, they get a folder with all of our presentations, and there's even homework for the parents. We have a letter to the parents discussing in detail all of the topics we go over with the kids. We talk about personal and home safety, cyberbullying, first aid,
fire safety as far as escape plans, what to do if there is a fire, smell of gas. We talk about severe weather, if they're home alone and there's a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm or something like that coming up, what to do in that case. For the first aid portion, we go into quite a bit of detail as far as what we teach the kids what to do with things like basic cuts and scrapes, all the way up to what happens if someone becomes unconscious. We go over choking and the Heimlich maneuver. And at the end of the first aid portion, we actually have them make their own first aid kit with some basics in it that they can use at home.
Oh, cute.
They decorate and design their own little box, and then it comes with supplies inside, some basics for them to use, and a little reminder card on calling 911. That is another portion that we go over a lot, is calling 911, what's going to happen when you do that, what they're going to ask, what information they need to be able to give. Sometimes that's a really scary thing for kids.
Sure, right.
So that's a pretty important thing we cover.
Encourage them, don't worry, just it's better to call than not to call, right?
Absolutely, and we really emphasize that the operator on the other line is going to be friendly and helpful, and you know, it's the best thing to do if they are home alone and can't handle a situation. So.
Wow, you cover a lot of really good
Oh, man.
topics. I mean, things that I think, you know, a lot of us as parents need to, I'm glad you have that letter to the parents, because things that you need to be reminded of that you don't always necessarily think about, you
Right.
know.
And as far as the internet safety and the cyberbullying prevention, we ask the kids to, when they get home, to teach their siblings, their parents, their grandparents.
Okay.
We ask them to share information. So we put the onus on the kids too to help educate the parents. So, because in some of the homes, the kids are the experts when it comes to
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah, good point. And I saw too in your folder, it looks like when you said you had like a fire escape plan, or so some of those things you work on at home, or you talk, or like you said, you educate your family so that everybody's kind of got, everybody knows what the game plan is for their particular house.
Sherry covers this, the home escape plan, in her portion of the presentation. If the kids want to start it in class, they can, but for the most part, many of them take it home and they discuss it with their parents when they get home.
Great idea.
Another item that the kids do in class, they get to decorate this, but this piece here is our emergency numbers that the kids will record. So mom and dad's work number, a neighbor's number, someone that they can trust in the neighborhood, a relative. This is where we talk about 911, and then this is magnetic, so when they get home, this goes on the refrigerator.
You know, speaking of phones, that's kind of an interesting concept now, because more and more homes don't even have a landline phone.
Oh, right.
And maybe just have cell phones. Do you guys talk about that, or the importance of, if your child is going to be, a kid is going to be home alone, they need to have a cell phone if there's no landline, or do you talk about those
We
types
cover
of
that,
things?
and I think one of the things that comes up is because there are numbers programmed into phones, whether they're at home or cell phones, kids don't know phone numbers. They don't know
Right.
their home phone number. They don't know mom or dad at work.
Right,
They may not
yeah.
even know their home address, and those are really important things for them to memorize. Not only to have the reference chart on the refrigerator at home, but if they are out on their bicycle and something happens, or out in the yard, you know, they need to be able to give their home address, give a telephone number. That's pretty important. So we really work on having them do that as homework, going home to memorize those things if they don't know them.
Okay. Yeah, because it's just it's a different age.
Oh,
now.
right.
Absolutely.
So we have, I was asking Sherry if you could just demo, like, I know one of the topics is just safety in the kitchen, and you mentioned like what to do if you smell gas, and you know, inadvertently turn on the gas stove.
Right.
But also, like, we have a pan behind us on the stove here, and you know, what kinds of things do you talk to kids about if they're trying to do any cooking at home, or?
One of the things we cover first is healthy snacking. What are good choices?
Okay.
What kind of things parents have allowed them to eat and not eat. We want them to have ground rules set with mom and dad. Is it okay to use the toaster and the microwave, but not the stovetop or the oven? Or kind of where their rules are. That should all be established
Yeah.
ahead of time, what's okay to use. And then we go over each appliance and the safety, aspects of it, what you want to keep in mind, what you want to remember. And then we do talk about cooking with parents when you are using the ovens and the stovetop, and kind of some things to keep in mind there. Kitchen fires are one of the most common and most deadly fires that we do get, so it is something we really want to cover with the kids. A couple really easy safety tips that we talk about, and we actually will bring pots and pans and demo, is just as simple as creating your physical space and trying to make it safe.
Right.
We don't want handles sticking out over the edge of the stovetop. That's an easy hazard as far as knocking it over. So we talk about keeping handles and things inside your frame of your stove. We talk a lot about burns and hot items, and making sure we don't want to get a liquid burn or any kind of metal that could be hot. So we talk a lot about using hot pads. Always, whether you're taking something out of the microwave or you're doing anything on a stovetop or in an oven, and just making sure you're always using that. If you're going to be checking an item to stir it or see if it's done, we always want to kind of open it away from our face and our body. Let the steam clear. Just really be careful about that. Kids, kind of one thing they forget about, especially in the microwave, because there isn't a visible flame, they forget that things are going to be very hot. So you put in a dish of macaroni and cheese to heat it up, that ceramic bowl or Tupperware, whatever you have it in, becomes really, really warm. So even using hot pads to get that out of a microwave can be really important. So cover a lot of things when it comes to snacking, and then we kind of end that portion by doing fun snacks. We do, Jill, if you want to talk about kind of what we do as far as our snacks.
We have 3 stations. So we set up fruit kebabs, fruit and cheese kebabs,
yeah.
so the kids get to cut up the fruit. So we talk about knife safety.
Okay.
Assemble those, they get to try it. Then we've thrown in a more healthy aspect with hummus and pita chips. So then one group does that and they talk about it and if they've tried it or not. And then we also do fruit smoothies. So we have 2 blenders set up. The kids are throwing in the fruit, the yogurt, and then they all get to try that. So that definitely is one of the favorite sessions that the kids really like, would be the kitchen safety and snacks.
I'm just curious, when I was younger, there were a few things that I could cook. Like Campbell's soup, like you could put soup in the pan, and that was always, or I could cook grilled cheese. Do kids really do a lot of cooking when they're home alone?
I find that especially after school is when kids, they come home. A lot of
Well,
times
you're
they've had
starving
lunch
usually.
so early.
Yeah, you're starving.
So they want something. They want
Yeah.
something substantial, but it's not dinner time yet. So I
Right.
think a lot of times they will heat up macaroni and cheese, or have some fruit, or make a sandwich or a toasted cheese, something like that.
okay.
Kind of that snack mid-afternoon.
It sounds so comprehensive, and what a great service to give to the kids and the community. How can information about this, like how frequently do you offer the class?
We're offering it 4 times in 2013, and
Okay.
again, we usually have it on non-Richfield school days. So
Okay.
they can look at online, they can go to www.richfieldrecreation.com, or they can just call the recreation department. And again, it was $18, and that includes lunch and snacks for the full day. And we're able to keep that price that low, again, because of the sponsorship of Richfield Ready. And also our businesses help out. I want to give a shout out to Broadway Pizza. Patty over there gives us a discount on pizza, which the kids love. We serve pizza and salad, and we're able to do it at an affordable price.
What's really great about this is not only are the kids getting this education about what they need to do to be safe at home, but I see a lot of elements here that the parents probably could really benefit from. I'm sure there's
Absolutely.
a lot of folks who haven't taken the time to really sit down with their family and say, in case of a fire, or in case of this is what we have to do. And this kind of forces people to look at that and put those pieces together. And when you have an event like a fire, for example, or someone is hurt in the home, it's those first, 1 or 2 minutes that people know what they're doing, so they're not just kind of running around in panic, that make a difference as to how severely someone may or may not get hurt, or how much damage there is in the house. So this is so critical.
We've found that it is, because the kids come up to us, they've come up to me in between breaks, and they've talked about, okay, I'm really scared of this, this, and this. Our last class, we had a young lady who was very afraid of fire, and so we had a conversation about that. And I think giving the kids a chance to ask those questions, and kids sometimes don't always listen to their parents, unfortunately, and so hearing it from another source, I think, is really beneficial.
Speaking of being scared, has any kid ever asked you whether, or said they were afraid of the monster that lives under their bed?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
That's why you weren't left home
That was
alone
part
until
of
you
the,
were
that's part of the
17.
reason.
Okay.
Part of the reason, yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing the information about your great program. I mean, we've just heard so many good, positive things about it, and it's just what a great program to offer the kids of the community. So if you are interested in signing your kid up for the Home Alone program, check out, as Jill said, the city's website, the Richfield Recreation website, and you can get more information and sign up and get your kids educated in this important topic.
And tell your friends and neighbors, because I know not
Yeah.
everybody watches cable TV or has a cable TV show. Just to make sure that that other folks remind their neighbors or remind their friends that this program is available, and it's very affordable.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you both.
Thank you.
Well, until we catch you another time out and about in Richfield, take care.